There are four main thoughts that jump out at me when I consider putting a giant maxi pad over a generator's exhaust to muffle sound. The first is obviously fire risk. The second is carbon monoxide being redirected into the housing of the generator and tripping the CO shutoff. Third, will it cause a generator to overheat? And lastly, does the benefit outweigh the potential risks? I'm going to address these issues and explain why I use this dampener on my generator that runs 8 to 12 hours a day, every day. I have a 5-year-old Generac 3000i with 13,000 hours of runtime. Spoiler alert, this device reduces generator noise by about 45%. I will also quickly cross out two list items: fire risk and CO shutoff. Fire risk. This dampener is made out of a fire blanket, like the ones used to extinguish kitchen fires, and a material called KO wool, which is a ceramic fire insulation used in kilns and forges. Both materials are the antithesis of fire risk. Moving on. CO shutoff. If you have an IQ above room temperature, then you should just delete the useless CO alarm on your generator before it creates a crisis when it malfunctions, which it always does. It's literally like taping a CO alarm to the outside of your car or lawnmower. I suspect that CO alarms on generators actually cause more harm than good, as they induce a false sense of security and cause a shift towards higher risk behavior. I recommend a dedicated separate CO detector in any adjacent living space. However, attaching one to a generator is just stupid. I wish companies would actually conduct honest studies before rolling out safety features as selling points. Now I'm going to run experiments to determine the risk of overheating and the benefit of noise reduction. So hopefully that was decent, except for the kids screaming in the background. I took all that data we just obtained, I put it into a table. We have the criteria on the left here: idle, no dampener; idle with dampener; under a 1200 watt load with no dampener, and a 1200 watt load with a dampener. I took the deltas in those decibel drops for trial 1 and 2, and then I averaged those deltas together. We got 3.8 and 3.3 respectively, and I converted that from the logarithmic decibel scale to a linear percentage scale using this formula here. It's actually very complicated, and there's a whole lot that goes into perceived sound curves, which is really cool. But anyway, I got a reduction of 42% and 46%. Now, one thing that confuses me in these calculations is, how does 3.8 decibels equal 42% and 3.3 decibel equal 46%? Please leave a comment if you figured that one out. And now a quick word from one of our sponsors. Just kidding, I don't have any. I ran the generator on idle without the dampener for 45 minutes to allow it to heat up to its operating baseline. From 1 meter away, I used a FLIR X6 thermal camera to capture the heat signature of the rear vent assembly. Using FLIR tool software, I selectively analyzed the area of the rear vent using the grill opening to define my borders. Here is that data. There is a max temp of 395 degrees Fahrenheit, a min temp of 54.5, and an average temp of 117. I repeated that test after running with the dampener on for an additional 45 minutes. I intentionally did not allow it to cool down, as this would more accurately reflect real-world usage. From this, I obtained a max temp of 388, a min temp of 83, and an average temp of 128. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the heat signatures from both trials. As expected, there is a greater area of heat dissipation on the dampened generator. Heat dissipation also explains the closer min and max range observed with the dampener on. Also, the average temperature on idle is increased by 11 degrees with the dampener on. I wonder if this temperature increases proportionately to wattage load, or if the heat increase is affected by a variable that I don't know of right now. I set up the generator and ran a 1500 watt space heater on high and a 1200 watt heat gun on low, because running it on high tripped the generator overload light. I allowed it to run for 45 minutes with the dampener on, then I unplugged both devices, removed the dampener, and obtained thermal images all within 10 seconds. I repeated this process without the dampener, including the 45-minute running interval in between. The heat dissipation patterns are similar to what we observed with the first trial. The temperature data only includes a selected area inside of the boxes. At full blast without the dampener, the average temperature was 123 degrees. At full blast with the dampener on, the average temperature was 157. While reviewing these images, I noticed that the exhaust pipe surface temp was skewing the averages by causing an outlier maximum temps of 696 and 821 degrees. In other words, the tailpipe was too hot and it was throwing off the measurements. So I recalculated the area temps to exclude the exhaust pipe by selecting 4 adjacent boxes around it and then averaging their average temps right here. Without the dampener on, the average temp at max load was 125 degrees. With the dampener, the average temp was 155 degrees. I suspected that the measured surface temperatures on the exhaust end of the generator wouldn't necessarily translate to the same increase in the motor's operating temperature. I thought it would be significantly less. I ran the generator at a 25% load for 45 minutes with the dampener on, then removed the fairing to get a direct measurement of the motor itself. I repeated this process without the dampener. For these data points, I'm comparing the maximum motor surface temperature from 1 meter away. Without the dampener, I got 151 degrees. With the dampener on, I got 159. That is an increase of 8 degrees. When all is said and done, we are looking at marginal increases in motor operating temperatures with the use of this dampener. My estimate is between 7 to 25 degrees relative to the wattage load. This would be even less with an open frame generator. In conclusion, using this dampener is a trade-off between a 40% reduction in noise versus a small to moderate increase in operating temperature. If a motor is operating above its intended operating temperature, the longevity of the engine will suffer. This is true, but if you're not changing your oil at least every 80 hours and you've got much bigger fish to fry, use this dampener with discretion. That's why it's removable. I'd say avoid it if outside temps are above 70. Now I'm going off script and I'm going to run you through how to make this thing in more detail. This is pretty ugly, I'll tell you that. So you can do all this without sewing anything. I'm just using, this is a 1mm satin cord, nothing special. I just sewed across the top here with an upholstery needle, and then I took these edges down too, but I reinforced the entire length of anything I sewed with CA glue, just thin super glue. And then on the back it looks kind of stupid because of the way the stitches went. And then I also kind of quilted loops in here. Whoopsie daisies. Yeah, so it has a quilted pattern here. This is to hold the KO wool from settling over time. Is there anything else special about it? Not really. Okay, I decided to voice this over because the generator's running and it's loud as hell. First, we put this in place and mark it where those screws are going to be. Then I add some CA glue to that area just to reinforce that fiberglass mesh. I use some activator to activate the CA glue. Not necessary, you could also just let it cure. And now I'm using a punch. This is actually a leather punch. I'm using that to punch those holes. And now I'm going to just paint it really sloppily for stealth. Okay, goodbye. I love you.